So, how many have heard of the phrase dark night of the soul? Have any of you ever been in one? No! Patrick, good. Excellent. I'm glad. Very good. You escaped it. Let me know how. All right, so no, this is not a joke, actually. We all need to go through them, and we all are in it. Anyway, the initiation has a number of steps, according to Campbell and world mythologists, and these are some of them. You usually go into an initiation because you're sick, you lost your job, you lost your spouse, somebody died, or you're depressed as all get out, and you are thrown into a dark night of the soul. During that dark night of the soul, there are three typical trials that you, the heroine and the hero, need to go through in order to get through, pass through, as Dante says, the inferno. Now, we all need to do this journey. There's no escaping from it, every single one of us. During these three trials, you need to learn trust and faith and hope. Those three things, trust, faith, and hope. And I feel for the millennial generation because they're going to need a huge amount of trust in themselves and faith in their family and friends and hope that they can make something great of their lives. That's why I love working with millennials and everyone else as well. You need to deal with the negative mother archetype and your own femininity, whether you're a man or woman, gay, straight, LGBT, doesn't matter. And you need to come clear and strong in finding your feminine emotions and using that, because your inner strength is always your feminine feelings, and that's why music helps us support us on this journey. All the thoughts in your head won't do it. The logic of the feminine and the feelings and the heart is the only thing that will get you through any of your dark nights of the soul. Whether you do all of the above, like I do, meditation, yoga, vision quests, sweat lodges, inner dream journaling, journal writing, painting, music, and so on, many of the things that we need to find the Holy Grail, which is our heart, and have a mystical initiation. A mystical initiation which creates authenticity, finding respect for yourself. Many of us who've gone through programs to help us get off things that were not good for us, so we can find enough respect for ourselves that we don't need anything but the inner spirit in our heart to keep us strong and on our path. The finding the infinite great goodness and possibilities within your life, all, as Rilke says, buried in your soul. It's all waiting for you. You just have to use it. This next song is a native song. It's a South American First Nations song. It's called Tatanka, which in Lakota Sioux means buffalo. And many of our First Nations and ourselves, actually, everyone is native to the world, the earth, use fasting, prayer, silence, being alone out in nature as ways and means to find our inner self. The next song is about the yearning and the longing again when you're all there on your own in this dark night of the soul and finding your own path in whichever way you can and looking for all the clues along the path. Again, this is a trial of trust. You need to trust, and my acronym for the word trust is total receptivity, uniting source truth. Hidden inside every one of our hearts, and we all have this, it's infinite, is the truth for your life. And it's united with the cosmic truth. So it's really a trust walk for every one of us to be able to engage that in a strong way. The next trial is the most important trial, and we all have to go through it every day. I do it whether I need it or not every 7 years completely. It's the death of the ego. It's interesting for me, I hear lots of young people these days, especially guys at the gym where I work out, I gotta kill my ego, gotta kill my ego. So this is something that's been part of our popular conscious awareness, that it's the ego that makes us fight, go to war, and all the other conflicts that we create. And so killing the ego is the most important thing for the hero or the heroine to do. When you kill the ego, this is interesting, this is the springtime, this is the Easter weekend. This is the really meaningful symbolism of death and rebirth. And when the ego is killed, and you need to kill it yourself, the soul can be reborn and rebirthed and regenerated. And the soul reigns on the heart, in the heart, and the ego then serves the soul. This is a song I wrote about that process of the trial of the death of the ego and the rebirth and resurrection of the soul. The third trial is the one for courage and strength and decision and love and action. So the third trial is, you can feel that in this song, which some of you will know, a very moving melody. This next one is an ancient Persian song that the Sufis sing, and it was written down by Gurdjieff quite a while back. And so this would be one where you can contact the great mystery. This is the last song for the initiation, and when you as a hero, heroine, have gone through all these stages and steps, then the last is to find some resolution and self-determination and some courage. My sincere wish for every one of you is that this is apropos in some or many ways for you at this stage in your life. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, relationally, economically, and so on. And it's also part, not just to help you as an individual, but to create some community as well here in Victoria. The third final stage of the hero's path, the heroine's path, is the return to the world. And I like to think of it as the return to the world of illusion, because there's nothing real about it, and everything is always changing, and it all depends on your filters and your perception, what you see. Two people looking at the same event are going to see the opposite things. So there actually is no reality to this outer world. All the Hindu texts, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, the Upanishads, all the Buddhist sutras and texts, many of the Gospels in the Nag Hammadi library, and all the texts from the First Nations and our oral histories say that this world is an illusion. Therefore, the hero is the one who follows the truth in her heart, his heart. And that's the only place to find truth, freedom, love, respect, courage, strength, decision, and love in action. So nevertheless, we all have to live here. We all have to do the work that we do unless you're retired, and if you are, then welcome to that next stage of your life. I know there's a few in the room here. And that's perhaps the most important thing. Whatever stage you're at is obviously the most important thing. But remember, whatever you do and decide now will have repercussions the rest of this life. And at the moment of death, and where you go at death, and death is a physical reality, but it's never a spiritual reality. You will always be somewhere. You will always be somewhere, and it depends on what you do now and how you are. That will determine where you go, and then wherever you are after that. So everything matters, but it's being true to yourself. So when we come back, let's say you've been on a retreat, you were at a men's workshop, you did mindful awakening awareness for 2 weeks up in the interior, up island, or whatever it is. You went to Hawaii for the winter, or for 2 weeks, or you went to Mexico, or wherever you went. When you come back, you still need to deal with this world of conflict and chaos and illusion. The third part for the hero may be the most challenging, because you have to stay strong in who you are and what you know about yourself, and live a life of truth, the good red road, as we say in the First Nations way, the middle path, as the Buddha calls it, the life of truth. So it's up to you to find techniques that you do every moment of every day, not just every day, every moment, to dispel the illusion, the chaos, the conflict that you hear in the media, read in the newspapers, hear from your neighbors, road rage on the road, whatever it may be. And you need to stay strong, to calm the mind and get in the heart and stay strong. And make some choices, conscious, positive choices that are going to lead you on a path of beauty, the blessing way, as we say in the Navajo way. This is a Navajo shirt, by the way, when I lived with them 20 years ago. It's a path of truth, freedom, love, peace, beauty, kindness, respect, joy, most of all, playfulness, fun, laughter, humor, humility, and living with others in community and creating a loving community, people you can trust. If ever there was a time where trust is important in our community, now is the time. I'm sure you're all aware that it would be possible for many of us to be very fearful and disrespectful of others because of what's going on and the illusion of the world these days. This next song then is called The Hero's Journey. It's a little ditty I wrote where the heroine is preparing to return to the world, the workaday world, the city or the town or whatever it is, to your friends and family, and how you need to be with yourself in order to be strong and be happy in your world. Now, despite everything that's going on, you also need to find a deep inner silence and peace in your heart and stay strong all day long, no matter who you are with or what you're doing. And so this song, which is a wonderful, well-known adagio for strings by Samuel Barber, is about staying sweet and calm and peaceful and kind and just clear at all times within yourself. That was my version of the Canadian tenors, Lead With Your Heart. Now, the next song is a very well-known civil rights song. It was the one song they sang all the way from Georgia to Washington Monument when they turned the tide in America in 1963. It's called Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around. Martin marched with hundreds of thousands of other people. And so the power of music obviously does change people and changes society and politics. Truth brings freedom and righteousness, and when you feel that personal empowerment as only a true hero or heroine does, then you will feel that nobody can turn you around, no matter who you are and what you want to do with your life. It is your life to live and nobody else's. And you have a God-given right, if you like, to make the most of your life. The words are this. I'm not going to sing it for you, but maybe another time. Ain't going to let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't going to let nobody turn me around. Going to build a brand new world. Gotta throw that in there. All right, and so you know what? It's about being joyful and fun and friendly and playful and childlike. The greatest thing about a hero is that he can afford to be childlike again. Redeem their childhood, find that inner peace and playfulness and fun and laughter. Be kind and have fun and joke around with anybody from any background or age. And it's the joy that makes life worth living, along with the kindness and respect. This is just like a little interlude to help you feel some of that joy. So as you continue to work with killing your ego every day, what can happen is that you can regenerate or recreate yourself, create some self-responsibility and self-reliance every day. This is a song I wrote called Brahma, or Creation. That was all based on math and Avogadro's number. There's a lot behind creation, as most of you know around that. This next song, it's the second to last song, is a song I wrote called Mandela Celebration. And this is meant to be a celebration here for us as well. Self-determination, courage, unity, harmony, balance, all things that Nelson lived in his life. Not without struggle. Now, this is the last piece for the evening. It's something I wrote 25 years ago, and it's called Concerto for the Ancestors, and I did mean all the ancestors of the earth, all the different backgrounds and civilizations and peoples, certainly the indigenous ones who've been here for hundreds of thousands of years. And I wanted to rededicate it this evening to not only for the ancestors who allowed us to be here, but I'd like to rededicate it to the descendants, not just for the next 7 generations, but for the next 77 generations. I'd like us to reimagine that our children and grandchildren, and down to 77 generations, will still have a lovely earth to live with. Lots of animals, plants, and trees. And so only ourselves will be the ones to determine whether that actually happens or not. We can only just do all that we can do individually and then as a community. Thank you. Well,